Welcome back to Tech TV here in Austin. I'm Ben Wodecki, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Brad Hastedt from Dataforce. How's it going?
Good, thanks for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure, thank you. So we're talking a little bit about what you guys do, but for those not in the know, briefly tell me about Dataforce.
Dataforce works with AI and machine learning teams to provide human annotated training data and collection for projects ranging from speech, speech to text, speech recognition, to conversational AI, natural language generation, all the way to computer vision type projects like that. As you might know, data quality is paramount when working with AI and machine learning models and building these models. So we really come alongside our clients to optimize these training data sets, not only in the beginning of the model building process, but throughout and with each iteration.
So Brad, a lot of companies are looking to improve the quality of their data models, given focuses on things like ethical and responsible AI.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the industries that your annotation tools are being used in, and some of those specific use cases as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it's probably easier to tell you about industries we don't work in than ones we do. But of course, big tech. We work with all of the big companies out in Silicon Valley on a wide array of annotation and collection projects that they're conducting every day. But telecom's a big area. Retail, of course. Healthcare and life sciences. Then down here in Texas, oil and gas and energy companies are running a bunch of different projects as well that we're working with. All the way to consumer services and consumer products like fast food different companies as well. So it really kind of runs the gamut. I would say in my time in AI, the explosion of projects and also AI awareness at different companies along at some point in their AI transformation it's been incredible these last few years.
So there's a real breadth of companies and brands that you're working with, but I think it's important to understand the kinds of considerations that you have to meet for customer needs, because you've got people in certain different industries. Say, for example, what would an automotive client need compared to someone in like finance?
Right.
How are you kind of looking at that?
Right. I would say each engagement is bespoke. It's a custom project nearly every time when you're working with a new client or an existing client, and you really work alongside those teams to really gain respect for their specifications and what they need out of a project, what they're measuring in a project. So that's really the first consideration for a team. What are they really trying to solve here? What problems are they working on? What does a data set need to look like? What data do we need? What data needs to be labeled? What doesn't? What can we help eliminate for a specific team or a specific project? With regard to industry, an automotive team, if they're working on autonomous driving, they're going to be worried about safety. Those teams are worried about safety, and if you've got let's say a big data collection project going on where you're recording hundreds or thousands of hours of footage for an autonomous driving model to learn from, then safety is of paramount importance in how you collect that data. For finance, well then you might be talking about specific financial transactions, so then you get into data privacy and handling that data correctly and according to compliance. So depending on the industry, there are a wide range of considerations that as each project kicks off, you have to consider.
So Brad, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I want to dive into it a little bit deeper. There is a huge focus on responsible AI right now.
Yeah.
Companies like Microsoft and Meta are really pushing principles and guidelines, but for Dataforce and your team and your annotation tools, how essential is it that enterprises are correlating that high quality data?
It's critical. It's critical. It's one of the, I would say we have it, it's one of the first things we mention in every conversation and introductory meeting is responsible AI and the concept of responsible AI and what's that mean, for a company? Well, where are we sourcing it from, right? Or where do we build our teams and how do we build our teams? And along with responsible AI, there's ethical AI, and diverse data sets. How are we working our best to mitigate bias in data sets, right? You probably never eliminate totally a bias in a particular data set, but how are we working our best to mitigate bias so that we can get the best results with AI? That's a concern really from day one in building or in annotating a data set.
That's really great to see.
Yeah.
And I think finally, I'd like to gauge your opinion on what you guys at Dataforce can bring to, say, an enterprise that wants to adopt a more responsible AI suite.
Yeah, well, I think the cool thing about being with Dataforce and being a global company and having a global reach is we get to work, as I said earlier, with so many different companies in so many different industries, right? So we get to hear what different companies are doing, and we get to take those best practices that we've learned from different engagements and communicate those, obviously in a private way, but communicate those to clients or potential clients that we're bringing on board on things to do and what not to do and what to avoid. I think being what we have access to is a global community. We're a global company. We have over 150 offices globally, and so we can source from different parts of the globe to create an overall diverse group, participant group for a data set collection, or a diverse group for data set annotation, right? Which is, it's important, just like it's important with AI and machine learning teams that are building these models in the first place to have a representative sample for data scientists or machine learning engineers that are building these models. It's just as important to do the same thing with your data set and really pay attention to diversity in building those data sets and annotations.
It's been great to hear, and I appreciate the kind of work that you guys are doing. It's really great to see. Brad, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
All
Pleasure.
the best.
Thank you.